Now in this video, I'm going to be showing you step by step how to use Filmic Pro so that you can shoot professional looking videos with your iPhone. Hey, Matt Holmes here from V8 Video Academy, where I help business owners and entrepreneurs to build their business, brand and audience online with video. Now, if you've ever used the native iPhone camera app for filming videos, you'd have noticed that you don't have a huge amount of control over the image that you're shooting. But with Filmic Pro, you have access to all sorts of features that you find on DSLR cameras and other professional video cameras. Now, the Filmic Pro interface can seem pretty overwhelming at first glance, but don't worry, because in this video, I'm going to be showing you step by step how to set up and use Filmic Pro on your iPhone. So, let's dive right into it. Okay, so here we are inside Filmic Pro. Now, looking at the interface here, we'll start in the bottom left. So we've got the three circles, the red, blue and the green. This is to access your white balance or your color temperature. The next one across, the sort of circle with a dot in the middle of it, that's to access your focus and exposure controls. Next one across, which is the A, that is going to give us access to more advanced features such as peaking. And then in the middle, we've got the time code, which at the moment is set to 000000. And then we've got to the left of that, we've got the frame rate and the resolution that we're currently set at. So currently I've got the Filmic Pro app set to 25 frames a second and 4K resolution. Now on the right hand side of the time code, we've got the remaining battery left and the remaining storage left on my iPhone. And underneath the time code, we've got the audio bars telling us the audio levels that are coming into Filmic Pro. On the right hand side, we've got the gear icon, which gives you access to the main menu, which we'll go into in a second. To the right of that, we've got the play icon, which allows you to review your clips. And to the right of that, the big white circle, that is the record button. Okay, let's first take a look at the main menu inside Filmic Pro. To access this, just click on the gear icon and you'll see the main menu pops up there. The first setting we'll look at is the resolution. So in the top left of the menu, you'll see a resolution button. If we tap on that, it'll open various options in here. So at the top, you can see the aspect ratios. Now, I recommend that you start with a 16:9 aspect ratio, which is set to as default, as this is the standard widescreen format for videos. But you can experiment with the other aspect ratios on offer here. Now if you're filming in one of the cinematic aspect ratios such as 2:1 or 2:76:1, then you'll see black bars appear at the top and bottom of your screen. Now you can turn these off if you prefer by tapping the crop source to overlay toggle. Moving down to the resolution, depending on which iPhone model you have, you may see different resolutions available to the ones on my iPhone here. I have an iPhone 8 by the way. Now ideally you want to film in the highest quality possible, so I recommend that if you can, you shoot in 4K 2160p. This will record in a resolution of 3840 pixels wide and 2160 pixels high. If you want to record slow motion video which uses higher frame rates, then you'll need to choose a lower resolution such as 1080p. The next option down is the recording quality, which will set the bitrate that Filmic Pro records in. I recommend that you just set this as high as possible, which is using the Filmic Extreme option. There are different recording qualities available such as Filmic Quality, Apple Standard and Economy. But you're going to get the best results using the Filmic Extreme option. Just remember though that a higher bitrate means that more storage space is needed for the video files. So if your iPhone storage is getting full, you might want to back up your iPhone and delete some data from it, or choose a lower bitrate setting. Moving back to the main menu, which we'll do by just tapping anywhere on the screen, we'll move into the frame rate settings. In this menu we can adjust the capture and playback frame rates. Now the default frame rate for Filmic Pro is 24 frames a second for both capture and playback. But you can change this depending on what resolution you chose in the previous menu. As I mentioned earlier, if you want to film slow motion video, then you'll need to select a resolution of 1080p or less. Then, as you can see here, I can now select a frame rate of up to 240 frames a second. If you want to shoot time-lapse video, then just tap the time-lapse button here and choose your interval. When you hit record, Filmic Pro will take a still picture at the interval you select. For example, if you select 10 seconds, Filmic Pro will take a picture every 10 seconds. Moving back to the standard frame rate settings, I recommend that you choose 24, 25 or 30 frames a second for both your capture and playback settings. I'm going to choose 25. Okay, next we'll move on to the audio settings. This is where you're going to select your microphone source. So we'll just tap on the audio option in the main menu. And at the top you can see the different microphone options we can choose. So I haven't got an external microphone plugged in at the moment, but if I did, then I would see the external microphone as an option at the top here. So I've currently got an iPhone microphone back option, the front microphone and the bottom microphone. So there's three different settings for audio quality. We've got AAC, we've got AIFF and PCM. I recommend that you choose the AAC option. This is the highest quality audio. And below that we've got the kilohertz setting. So we've got 48 kilohertz or 44.1 kilohertz. I recommend you go with 48 kilohertz because this is going to give you, again, the highest quality audio. In this latest edition of Filmic Pro, you can now connect a Bluetooth microphone. So to do this, just tap the Bluetooth microphone toggle here and then connect your Bluetooth microphone. Scrolling down, we can see the video only option. So if you don't want to record any audio with your video, just toggle this option and turn that on. And then below that we've got automatic gain correction, and we'll just leave this on for now. Back in the main menu, if you tap on the device option, you'll have various different device settings in here, such as save to camera roll, remote control, orientation lock, and various other settings. In the preset menu, you can choose to save the current settings you have as a preset, which will mean that you don't have to set up Filmic Pro from scratch every time you use it for filming. The CMS option on the left hand side of the menu stands for Content Management Settings. So if you tap on that, you can set settings such as the name of the video, scene numbers and take numbers. But this is an optional extra, you don't have to use it. If you did want to use it, just tap on the Content Management toggle here and it will open up the options for you. In the hardware menu, you can choose to connect any external devices you're using, such as the DJI Osmo Mobile, which will allow you to control Filmic Pro from your device, depending on which device you're using. To connect Filmic Pro to your device, just tap on the toggle button next to the device you're trying to connect. Back in the main menu, you'll see the sync option. Now if you use Filmic Pro on more than one device, then you can sign up for a free Filmic Pro account and store your presets in your account, so that you can access them from multiple devices. Tap on the community icon in the main menu to see various different ways that you can connect with Filmic Pro online. If you need image stabilization when you're filming, then you can turn it on and off just by tapping the stabilization button in the bottom left of the main menu. If you're just filming on a tripod, you probably won't need image stabilization, but if you're walking around with your iPhone whilst you're filming, then it will help to reduce some of the camera shake in your footage. The camera icon in the main menu allows you to switch between the front and rear facing camera on your iPhone. Just be aware that if you're using the front facing camera, the highest resolution you can film in is 1080p, whereas the rear facing camera you can film up to 4K resolution. If you need some extra light whilst you're filming, you can use the light on your iPhone, but I don't recommend it because it's not particularly nice light. However, in Filmic Pro, if you tap the torch option here, you can choose to set the power of the light on your iPhone from off, low, medium and high. But I recommend that you leave it off. Just use natural lighting or some other form of artificial lighting if you need it. You can also use grid lines by tapping the guide option in the menu, which will break up your composition into thirds to help you compose your shots. To analyse how well your image is exposed and focused, Filmic Pro has some pretty cool tools. So at the bottom, if you tap the A icon, it'll bring up at the top of the screen 4 different icons. The first icon on the left is Zebra. This shows areas that are slightly overexposed with red stripes. The second icon is Clipping. Now clipping shows areas that are completely overexposed and will have no detail recorded in them. The third icon is Forced Color Exposure. This shows an overall view of what is exposed correctly in your image. Green indicates that the area is correctly exposed. Red indicates that it isn't. The fourth icon is Focus Peaking. Now the blue indicates areas that are in focus, and the green shows you areas of critical focus. This is a really useful. Okay, now we'll set up your white balance. So to get out of the advanced features, just tap on the red A icon at the bottom again, and there we go. Okay, so now tap on the 3 circles in the left of your screen and it will bring up the white balance menu. In this menu you have complete manual control over the white balance of your image. There's also an auto white balance setting which is pretty accurate actually. So if you wanted to set up the auto white balance, you'll see an AWB in blue on the white balance menu. Now you can lock the auto white balance so that the color temperature doesn't change whilst you're filming, and to do that just tap on the AWB icon and it will turn red, and that means it's locked. There's also various different preset white balance options such as tungsten, daylight and cloudy. If you want to manually adjust your white balance, you can just click and drag your cursor around here to change the color temperature to suit the scene that you're filming. Filmic Pro also offer what they call the Cinematographer's Kit for an additional £9.99 or around $15, which allows you to have even more creative control over the look of the image by adjusting the gamma curves. So to access the Cinematographer's Kit, if you do decide to buy it, just tap on the middle icon on the left here. And inside this menu you'll see the curves at the top as well as the shadow and highlight options at the bottom. So the natural curve is the iPhone's default curve, but you can choose to have a dynamic curve, a flat curve or a log curve. And these other curves give you much more control over the color grading of your footage in post-production. You can also adjust the shadows and highlights of your image by just simply dragging these options here. In the color tab part of the Cinematographer's Kit, which you get access to by just tapping the bottom left icon here, you can actually control the individual RGB channels, which stands for red, green and blue, as well as the saturation and vibrance of your image. So to do that, just simply tap and drag your finger along here, along the channels, and for saturation and vibrance, exactly the same thing, just drag it to the left or the right. If you ever want to reset the settings that you've just been messing with, just tap on the red refresh icon in the top left here, and it will just put them back to the standard settings for you. Okay, let's move on to exposing your image. Now the circle icon in the middle of the screen represents the exposure. You can drag this around to set the exposure to whatever is inside the circle. If you want to fine tune the exposure, tap and hold on the exposure circle and a menu will slide out from the left hand side of the screen. You can then tap and drag this slider to adjust the exposure. Once you're happy with the exposure, just tap off the slider menu that popped out and you'll see that your circle has turned red, which means that it's locked the exposure for you. The same principles applies to the focus square. Simply drag it around the screen and position it on the area that you want to focus on. Then tap and hold on the focus square to fine tune your focus. You can then tap and drag the slider to adjust your focus. And don't forget that you can turn on the focus peaking by tapping the A icon here and the focus peaking option here, and then you can drag your slider to find out what's in focus and what isn't. Then once you're happy with the exposure, just tap off the slider menu and you'll see that it's turned red as well and it's locked the focus for you. And then just tap on the advanced options and they'll disappear too. If you want to bring up the manual focus and exposure dials at any time whilst you're filming, just tap the round icon in the bottom left of the screen and they'll slide out from the left and the right. Once you're happy with your exposure and focus, you can start recording. So you just tap on the white record button in the bottom right of your screen and it'll turn red. And in the middle you'll see the time code start counting up. Then once you're finished filming, just tap on the red record button, it will turn white again and stop recording. To play back your videos, just tap on the play icon in the bottom right of your screen and it will bring up the Filmic Pro library. This is where you can scroll through all of your recorded video clips, including the ones that you filmed with the native iPhone camera app. Just tap on a clip to watch it back. You can then press the play icon to actually play your clip. And Filmic Pro also has various different options for editing your clip. So by tapping on the scissor icon, you can trim your clip. Once you're happy, you can just press the tick icon here and it will save it. But what Filmic Pro actually does is it saves both the original clip and the trim clip as separate videos, so you never lose your original. You can tap on the image adjustment icon here to make changes such as the exposure, contrast, white balance, saturation and tint of your image. Again, any adjustments you make here will be saved as a new clip. The original clip will remain untouched. Now, although these tools are useful, I recommend that you make all these sorts of adjustments in a proper video editing software or video editing app such as iMovie. There's various different other options in here, including the downsampling tool, which will allow you to reduce the resolution of a clip and therefore its file size. You can also share your video clip with a particular app such as iMovie, or save it to your iPhone's camera roll or send the video clip to another device. Back in the Filmic Pro library, which you accessed by just tapping the cross icon here in the top right, if you swipe a clip to the left, it'll bring up a delete option. And if you tap the tick icon at the bottom to select multiple images, they'll turn green on the left when you've selected them. And when you've selected some, you can save them to your iPhone's camera roll, share them with another app or device, or delete them. So there you have it. That's the basics of using Filmic Pro on your iPhone. And now it's your turn. Get out there and start experimenting using Filmic Pro to film your videos. Get yourself used to its interface and how it works. Let me know how you get on using Filmic Pro in the comments below. I've also left a link to Filmic Pro on the App Store in the description below this video. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more actionable content on how to build your business, brand and audience online with video. See you next time.